Michael, holding her close, I missed you, Grace. We'll find a way to be together, I promise. Grace filled with so much worry, Michael, my father will never understand. If he finds out we're still meeting, we'll figure it out. Our love is stronger than his rules, said Michael with a smile. Back at the parsonage, Pastor John sits alone in his study, the weight of his daughter's defiance pressing heavily on his heart. He opens his Bible, seeking solace in the familiar verses, but finds no peace. Praying, Lord, help me. I'm losing my daughter. Show me the way to protect her. Sarah, sensing the growing tension in the household, tries to mediate. She asked John, maybe we should talk to Grace together. Find a way to understand her. Pastor John sighs, no, Sarah. This is between Grace and me. She needs to understand the dangers of her actions. Days pass, and the clandestine meetings between Grace and Michael continue, each encounter filled with a mix of passion and fear. Their love grows stronger, but so does the risk of discovery. One evening, as the sun sets behind the parsonage, Grace and Michael meet once more. Michael, Grace, I've been thinking. Maybe we should leave this place. Start fresh somewhere far away. Grace, hesitant, Michael, I can't just leave my family. My father, he'd never forgive me. Michael, gently, your father's love for you is real, but so is mine. We need to find our own path. Grace returns home, her heart heavy with indecision. She lies in bed, staring at the ceiling, replaying Michael's words in her mind. The next morning, Pastor John's demeanor is even more somber than usual. Pastor John, Grace, we need to talk. Grace, nervously, yes, Father. Pastor John, I've noticed you've been distant lately. Is there something you want to tell me? Grace, struggling, Father, I've been seeing Michael. Pastor John, angry, Grace, I forbade you from seeing him. Do you understand the consequences of your actions? Grace, pleading, Father, I love him. We love each other. Pastor John sighs deeply, you're too young to understand love. This boy is leading you astray. Grace's eyes fill with tears as she watches her father struggle with his emotions. Sarah enters the room, sensing the tension. Sarah, John, please. Let's talk about this calmly. Pastor John, firmly, no, Sarah. Grace needs to understand the gravity of her actions. The weeks that follow are filled with silence and unspoken tension. Grace continues to see Michael in secret, but the weight of her father's disapproval hangs over her like a dark cloud. One night, the inevitable happens. Grace discovers she is pregnant. Panic and fear consume her as she confides in Michael. Grace, Michael, I don't know what to do. If my father finds, Michael, holding her, we'll figure it out, Grace. We'll get through this together. The next morning, Grace gathers her courage and decides to tell her father the truth. She finds Pastor John in his study, his face lined with worry. Father, I need to talk to you. Pastor John, sensing the seriousness, what is it? Grace, trembling, I'm pregnant. The room falls into a stunned silence. Pastor John's face turns pale, his eyes filled with shock and disbelief, whispering, how could this happen? Grace, sobbing, I'm so sorry, Father. I didn't mean for this to happen. Pastor John's world crumbles around him. The shame and guilt of his daughter's situation overwhelm him. He retreats to the church, seeking solace in prayer, but finding none. Pastor John, praying, Lord, I've failed as a father and a pastor. Forgive me. In a moment of unbearable despair, Pastor John makes a tragic decision. He retrieves the handgun he keeps in his office for protection and takes his own life. The sound of the gunshot echoes through the empty church, a stark reminder of the darkness that has consumed him. The next morning, Sarah and Grace discover Pastor John's lifeless body in the church. The horror and grief that follow are indescribable. Sarah, screaming, "John! No, John! Why? Oh, God, why?" Grace, crying, "Father! No, this can't be happening." The community is left reeling from the shocking news. At Pastor John's funeral, Grace stands beside her grieving mother, her heart heavy with guilt and sorrow. Grace, whispering, "This is all my fault. If I had just listened to him." Michael, holding her, "Grace, no. This isn't your fault. Your father loved you deeply, but he was struggling with his own demons." As the days turn into weeks, Grace finds solace in Michael's unwavering support. Together, they face the challenges ahead, determined to honor Pastor John's memory while forging their own path forward. Grace, in prayer, "Father, I will always love you. I will carry your teachings in my heart and strive to make you proud." Together, Grace and Michael navigate the complexities of grief and forgiveness, their love a beacon of hope amidst the storm. Here are 2 moral lessons from the story. 1. The importance of understanding and compassion in parenting. Pastor John's strict approach and inability to empathize with Grace's feelings ultimately led to tragic consequences. His rigid enforcement of rules without trying to understand his daughter's emotions and desires created a rift between them. This highlights the necessity for parents to balance discipline with compassion and open communication. Parents should strive to understand their children's perspectives and feelings, fostering an environment where open dialogue is encouraged. By doing so, they can guide their children through life's challenges with love and support, rather than through fear and control. 2. The destructive nature of suppressing emotions. Pastor John's internal struggle and suppression of his own emotions, combined with his inability to accept Grace's relationship with Michael, led to his tragic decision. This underscores the harmful effects of bottling up emotions and not seeking help or expressing one's true feelings. It is crucial to acknowledge and address emotional struggles, seeking support when needed. Suppressing emotions can lead to severe consequences, both for oneself and for loved ones. Open communication, seeking help from others, and practicing emotional honesty are essential for maintaining mental and emotional well-being. Thanks for watching. Please tell us in the comment where you are watching from, and do not forget to like, comment, share, subscribe and turn on your notification. See you in my next video.